it wouldn't be like a smoke screen with what you pay. Like, for example, I went to the doctor not too long ago. I had no idea what the fuck I was going to pay. I even asked them how much it was. They didn't know, right? So I looked on the website, right? And I had to dig through like these old PDFs and find the exact cost of what would, like, the book cost of what my treatment would be. It was in the thousands of dollars, right? So I ended up getting this bill with like, that was $800, right? And I was like, oh shit, that sucks. I have to pay $800 fucking dollars. That sucks, right? And then after some back and forth, it turned out to be $200. So it's like there's all this smoke screen of
somebody. The person who sent you that bill added $600 to that shit.
It's the base. LOSO__G.
DK, the engineer.
It's your boy, letter after T, B4V. You go, boy.
It's the base.
Run down.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I got a quick question. What is Germany, France, Italy, Spain, El Paso County, Texas, Newark, Illinois, Hershey Secondary Schools, and random schools in New York all have in common?
COVID season.
Yup, they all thought they could defeat COVID, and now, since numbers are going up, a lot of them are pretty much going into, I guess, other versions of lockdowns. Some lockdowns, some just, closing schools clearly. Some of them are actually bringing up the conversations again about just doing some type of, they don't want to do like a full shutdown. No one does, because people are well, I'm going to say stupid, but no one wants the full shutdown. But whatever, man. Like, I know we've been saying this for weeks on end. Politicians keep talking mad shit about it, saying like, everybody's acting like it ain't there, but it is. It's coming back. It is there. It never went away, and now it's hitting harder. And to be honest with you, like, broken record, we don't got to spend too much time talking about this shit. Like,
I will. Go ahead, Fab.
It's just interesting. It's just a quick callback to 2 weeks ago when there was an article that DK brought up that they were saying, oh, the schools aren't contributing to Corona at all. 2 weeks later, they're like, yo, man, this Corona shit's getting crazy. We need to shut schools down.
You know what's funny though? Shutting schools down is not part of that conversation. They still want to keep this open because they're convinced that, like, it's specifically, even though people gather at schools, and by definition, a school is kind of like is a mass gathering. Yeah. They're not saying it's that. And the reason I'm just so skeptical, mainly because I didn't look at the methodology, but it's just that strong statement that it's like, no, schools definitely don't do that, and it's just like nothing is 100%.
Yeah.
No, facts. I mean, the denial is so crazy from like certain people. Like, you got freaking Donald Trump, Cocaine Jr., that asshole. You mean this guy came out yesterday and was just like, yeah, the COVID's practically gone. Meanwhile, 1,000 people died yesterday. 1,000. And you got you got this guy saying it's practically gone.
There's an estimate. There's an estimate that says that, like, by January, we should expecting numbers to triple if we keep going in this direction. So 3,000 a day. That's a lot, but when you think about 1,000 a day, 31,000 a month, and if we shoot up to 3,000, bro, that's about 100,000 every fucking month if we get to that. Well, and that is fucking bad.
Bro, the cold weather and the flu season, this is what Fauci and a lot of the scientists and doctors were saying. They were just like, listen, we got to get our shit together by the time fall to winter hits, because you've got the regular flu season smack dab, which is already going to be wild, and you smack dab right in the middle of a pandemic, and now you got people still out and about, just carrying on. Freaking T.I., this idiot, he had a freaking album release party in Atlanta. They were showing the Instagram feed. It was packed. It was packed. I know you saw that.
He was standing on a couch. He was standing on a couch.
You seen that Star Trek meme?
Bro. Atlanta's a whole different place, bro. They got concerts going on over there and everything. I don't know what's happening in Atlanta.
They could care less. What were you gonna say? What were you saying?
No, I was just doing the Star Trek meme, man. With
Patrick Stewart. Facts.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, but no, it's gonna get worse before it gets bad. RIP to the 1,000 people that died yesterday.
And to the 1,000 people that are gonna go tomorrow.
Probably, more than likely. Because it's a hoax and it's not real.
Right.
You know what else sounds like a hoax, but isn't? The Senate adjourning until November 9th.
Oh yes. Well, this is the series finale of our government is trash toward people who are unemployed. Yeah, Mitch McConnell, he got his wish. He adjourned the Senate until November 9th, so 6 days after Election Day is the next time the Senate is going to meet. So that means that COVID relief is until after the election is a done. He
torpedoed the stimulus checks. He was like, nah.
Mm-hmm. He's like, nah. We're not about to do that. We tried to do we try, and honestly, this proves the point of Chuck Schumer and a lot of the Democrats. The bullshit bills that they were trying to, the small bills they were trying to pass over the last few weeks, it was just political theater, dog. They were just doing it to be like, hey guys, we tried. We tried. See, we direct checks. See, we tried that. PPE. No, bro. They just were just putting on a show. They knew Democrats weren't going to agree to it. They knew that it wasn't going to pass the Senate. They got their wish. Their focus was on something else.
They had a plan this whole time, bro. It was a ruse. Like they were just. It was like I know what I'm gonna do. I don't care what people are gonna say to me, but this is going to get done. Like I don't care
by any means, bro.
It's gonna happen.
Wow.
If Trump wins, bro, again, we're fucking screwed with this money.
Oh my god, I don't even want to think about that.
That's like the thing that kind of worries me because it's like it feels hopeful, right? That like elections are right around the corner, and mind you, it'll probably take a little while for us to get the results, but it's just like, you know, if the Democrats win, I feel like this is like an easy thing for them to get everybody's nipples hard and, you know, it's just give them fucking money, bro.
I mean, we're gonna find out a lot like out on election day because a big part of Trump's base and the Republicans' base, their voters vote on election day because they're the older folk and the non-college educated folk. Right. They don't do mail-in ballots. They think that's a whole hoax in itself. So they don't mess with that. They want to be at the polls early and often to vote for their guy. So meanwhile, the complete opposite, most of Biden's people, they voted already. They're early voters. Yeah. They did their mail-in ballots already. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a clash, and it's going to be interesting, especially in the swing states, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, Colorado, North Carolina. We're going to see, man.
It hasn't been this crazy since 1908.
Something like that.
Well, then, moving on to more obvious forms of racism.
Oh, my goodness.
This guy.
Go ahead, Fab.
This guy, first off, in any form of media, he looks like the creepy guy that you watch out for. And
how does he not have facial hair, bro? Like even a little bit.
He can't.
Like he can take his toupee off, and he like has alien coming out of his head.
But he looks like a mannequin that came to life, bro.
This is Trump's stepson. Trump's
is a son-in-law.
Son-in-law. Sorry, my bad. Son-in-law, stepson.
It's Ivanka Trump's husband.
Anybody that supports him, there's something weird going on. And he tweeted out, he's like, "Yo, why are they complaining? They should just be." It's like, bro, what is with the mindset of these people who probably work for nothing, right?
No,
they're telling other people who are hard workers to work. Like, it's like, bro, come on, pull your bootstraps up, bro. Like, what are you saying here? But he looks creepy as fuck.
Oh my god, the comedy behind freaking Jared Kushner. First of all, legacy and trust fund kids that like they're born on third base and swear they hit a triple. Like they're the worst. They're the worst. And the victim blaming that like falls in line with a lot of freaking older white racist like individuals. This is what they think. They're just like, oh, black people, they're just complaining. This is 2020. Like racism's doesn't exist. Like why don't they just get money? Why don't they just freaking become millionaires? Meanwhile, you yourself, you're born. This dude Jared Kushner, his parents left him hundreds of millions, not a couple million, hundreds of $1 million. His father-in-law, the Orange Man, his dad left him $400 million behind to start real estate and all his other crooked schemes in this, that, and the third. Again, so
that was a small loan.
Yeah, he had to pay that back. There's a quote that I got that was lovely from an individual who's running for Congress. I have to pull it up.
It's not that we have to work more. We have to find better fathers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. That's what we got to do.
Shout out to Jamal Bowman. He's running for Congress, I believe, in New York. He said in response to Jared asshole Kushner, Jared Kushner wants to distract white voters with images of complaining and lazy black people so they won't vote to make billionaires like the Kushners pay their fair share in taxes. Our country will be truly great only when we put an end to their divide and conquer tactics. Big facts. And I hope he wins his congressional seat that he's running for on election day. But bro, this is textbook how you combat this foolishness. You got these freaking legacy trust fund disconnected white folk that are just like, you can't. First of all, you can't speak for the black community. Number one, you're not black. Number two, let's just throw out the obvious. You're not black. Number two, you've never worked a day in your life. Number three, you've always been rich. You've always been rich.
You were born, right?
You're born into it. You know nothing of this world. So for you to be like, yeah, they complain too much and they have to want to be successful. Mm-hmm. Like if the three of us, if somebody just came to us like and we're just like, so if I could go back in the future and have you at birth have like $500 million in the bank, would you want that? Would you be interested in that? Like all three of us would turn down like, nah,
bro, I'm lazy.
Nah, I'm lazy. Nah, I want this fast.
I'm lazy. I gotta go where?
Yeah, I gotta where? Now I want this student debt. That's what I want. I want this credit card debt. That's what I really want.
Like what?
Bro. Nah.
The quickest myths that are debunked once you get out into the quote unquote real world is the myth of genius and this idea that these career politicians have your best interest at heart. Like, it's just like the real world was, at least for me, I would say, like, you kind of hear things, but it just felt like what I was sold about, like, life was just like a complete lie. And that real life is really more dirtbaggish than any video game I've ever played. Yeah, that's a fair way to look at it. Not to mention that go ahead, Fat.
I was let me take the place of Edwin since he's gonna be absent for this episode. Wait. Let's step back a bit and let's really look at the statistics. Let's look at the statistics of lazy black men in America. Let's really dive into this. Hold on, let me type some.
Nah, freaking idiots have been like disconnected idiots like Kushner. They've been saying this for decades. Like, you guys remember the welfare queen? Like back in the 80s? Like that came from the 80s and the Reagan administration. And the conservatives back then saying that, yeah, lazy black women and lazy black men who are too lazy to go to school, they just live off of Section 8 and welfare. They don't feel they live off the government, yada, yada, yada. You know what? It's just a continuation of that.
What's funny, and please don't quote me, but I remember reading a while back that like white people are most of the people on welfare that take a lot of those government aids and stuff like that. It's not necessarily Blacks, Latinos, it's mainly white people.
First of all, it's facts. You're right. I read that somewhere too. I think I read that like in high school somewhere.
I'm reading it right now. It says number
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks. Appreciate it,
Jamie. Mississippi, New Mexico, Louisiana, West Virginia, and Kentucky have the highest poverty rates. And as far as like welfare goes, who's number one? Where's number one? Show me number one. Where is it? It just says more women. It doesn't tell me what kind of woman. You know the kind.
Be careful if you say a specific type of woman.
Right.
I just find it funny that Kentucky's up there, and who's the freaking senator of Kentucky? Is it Bitch McConnell? Is it Bitch McConnell? Oh my goodness!
Because he has all their fucking money.
Oh my goodness! How could it be Bitch McConnell? Oh my god! Shout out to Amy McGrath. I hope she beats him, by the way. She's running for Senate against him. And she destroyed him in the debates a couple weeks ago. So shout out to Amy McGrath. Hope you win, girl. Kentucky needs that. Because, goodness.
Well then, while we're on the topic of Amy's, let's talk about this Judge Amy Coney Barrett and being confirmed by the Senate into the Supreme Court.
Wasn't that a show back in the day, Judging Amy? This is like real life.
So people that don't know, the Senate has voted 52-48 for Judge Amy Coney Barrett to be part of the Supreme Court. I guess the the reason this passed so quickly is because apparently Republicans control the majority of the Senate or the Senate. So it doesn't matter what we think or what we do because they just pushed it right through. So apparently, like nearly every Republican voted for it, but there was a few that didn't. Senator Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Hala, thank you for standing up for stuff. And I guess the big thing about this is that this kind of like solidifies the court's conservative majority. And I guess people are automatically thinking about like abortion rights and healthcare for like the next generations. And there's a few things that have kind of been brought up about this. And I think the main thing is like her experience, right? Mainly because she has a lot of educational experience. So she has 2 years as a judicial law clerk, right? She worked at Judge Lawrence Silberman of the U.S. Court of Appeals for D.C. Circuit from 1997 to 1998. Then she worked at another place called Miller Cassidy, something like that. LaRocca and Lewins. That's sorry that I'm mispronouncing your white names. Not sorry. It's a boutique law firm for litigation in DC again that actually merged with Baker Botts. That was an easy white name. Then after that, she was an associate professor at George Washington University Law School. I think like barely a year. And then since then, she started at Notre Dame. That's her alma mater in 2002. And she's been teaching since 2002 till now. She was teaching federal courts, evidence, constitutional law, and statutory interpretations, which is, I guess I can see why people would be like a little bit curious about that. Like, I don't really know much about their qualifications, but about the other judges, but I found it very surprising that like they just brought in an academic. There is the other side, right? So there's some people that are saying she's not qualified because of those specific reasons.
Right.
But then other people are saying that she is very qualified. The specific website that I went to was the New York City Bar Association. So apparently they do evaluations about like every single judge, just to see, I guess, if they're worthy enough. Like, I don't know if it matters or not, but whatever. So according to them, this is, I quote what they said: the City Bar finds Judge Barrett to be an extremely talented lawyer and judicial writer who unquestionably, in quotes, meets the first three of the City Bar's evaluation criteria. Number one being exceptional legal ability. Number two, extensive experience and knowledge of the law. I guess she's a teacher. 3, outstanding intellectual and analytical talents. But there are some concerns that they raise, but it doesn't seem to really matter to them. The concerns are maturity of judgment, questionable integrity and independence, a temperament reflecting willingness to search for a fair resolution of each case before the court, also sympathetic understanding of the court's role under the Constitution and the protection of the personal rights of individuals, and 8, an appreciation for the historic role of the Supreme Court as a final arbiter of the meaning of the United, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what any of that shit means.
It sounds but judge without a moral compass. Is that what they just said?
Son, I was kind of like, I've only been following it recently just because like we had that rapist that got in a few years ago. It seems like yesterday. And now we have this person, which doesn't seem to have any experience, but whatever, man. Like I guess the claims that this fucking, what's it called? My fault. That the nycbar.org made all seem very, like, they're not solid, right? It's kind of like very open-ended stuff. Like, oh, I'm a nice person. What does that even fucking mean? You feel me? Like, how do you measure any of that? But whatever, she's in. There's nothing we could do about it because the thing is that they're there for life. So unless somebody has a hit out for her or she has like heart disease or she gets caught by COVID, she's going to be in there for a long ass time because she's very, 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 very young.
Yeah.
So in response to this, right, like there's a few things that Democrats have been saying. Specifically, there's this idea of expanding the court. The court right now, I believe, is like 9 people big, right? But it hasn't always been like that, right? Sometimes, what was that?
With 9 permanent seats, like you can't.
Yes,
lifelong positions.
Yeah,
but that's not always been the case, right? There's been cases where there's been less, and there's cases where there's been more. So a lot of people, and I want to say a lot of people, but specific people have been saying, let's just increase the size of the court. Which obviously the idea is you increase the size, and if the Democrats have the have the presidency next election, or they win the presidency, then they can just start throwing in people, that fit their agenda. Other presidents have tried this before in the past too. And then the other thing that's been brought up was a rotating Supreme Court. Biden apparently said something in a 60 Minutes interview, but this is actually something Bernie brought up before.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea with rotating the Supreme Court justices is that like there's no even though they're like lifetime appointment, they're appointed for a lifetime. That doesn't say that like they have to be in the Supreme Court. Like they can also do stuff in federal court, or they could be moved into there. Clearly, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I mean, I would assume, but essentially, like the Democrats are pushing for some type of change to that to make it more fair for them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I watched Biden's 60-minute interview. I watched Trump's, his brief 60-minute interview as well. He walked out because he didn't really like the questions. Shocking. But
they're very mean to me.
You're very mean to me. You don't ask nice. You ask mean questions to me. You're not nice to me.
Fucking asshole.
Freaking idiot. So anyway, but no, I watched Biden's response to the quote unquote court packing, and listen, he's got a legitimate gripe with that, and so do Democrats, because again, they understand that the big picture goal of Republicans has always been to kill Obamacare. That has been their goal for a number of years now. And the issue with that is they don't have nothing to replace it with. Like I can understand if they're just like, listen, we want to get rid of this because we have Republican care ready to go. I know that's a shitty name for a healthcare plan, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Republican care was ready to go. That was their plan in place with private insurance, the taxes on it, pre-existing conditions. They have this rock solid, bulletproof plan in place that is going to appease both sides, the Republicans and Democrats. They have that ready to go. Mm-hmm. I can understand their vitriol toward Obamacare and whatnot, but the lunacy behind this, and this comes all back to the court packing, the lunacy is they've been on this mission to kill Obamacare, but they have nothing to replace it with. And the second that they do kill it, millions of individuals who are on Obamacare that have pre-existing conditions, they're going to be asked out. They have nothing. There's no safety net for them. There's no temporary insurance that's in place that they can have. Okay, like even like for instance, when you apply for insurance, say you apply for Medicare or Medicaid. Like I'm going through this myself, and I went through it myself the first time I applied for Obamacare. I'm going through it again the second time I'm applying for Obamacare.
Because you're lazy.
Yeah, because I'm lazy, and I wasn't born with hundreds of millions like Jared Kushner, who is a complete moron. Anyway, so let's say that I had a job and I leave that job, or I get laid off, or I quit, or get fired, whatever, and they're going to terminate my health insurance or whatnot. When I switch over to this new job, or in the process of looking for a new job, the government, freaking Medicare or Medicaid, they're just like, listen, when does your insurance end? Do you want something to hold you over until you A, get approved for Medicaid, or B, find a new job they ask you that question. Like the health insurance marketplace. I know for New Jersey, they asked me that question, and they give me that. Shout out to Ed Boy, who's miming over there. But Republicans don't have that. They don't have that in place. So the second they freaking kick all these people with pre-existing conditions off of their freaking Obamacare, which isn't going to exist anymore, what are they going to do for these people?
Do you know where Obama fucked up with that?
Go for it.
Being
he shouldn't have called it Obamacare. He should have called it America Care. Or some white ass shit.
America Cares, yeah.
I don't even think he's the one who came up with Obamacare.
It was they shouldn't have done that, bro. Because I think if we would have had a more white name, they would have been alright with it.
So you think Biden Care is gonna fly?
Yo, bro, he can literally just take Obamacare and then just write Biden on top of it, and that's it. And people be like, "Oh, this shit is fucking dope, bro.
Yeah,
this is way better. This is what makes sense, bro. Obamacare didn't make sense.
He admitted in the last debate. He admitted he was like, "Listen, he said Biden Care." When he said it, I was like,
"Yeah, no." He said it's like Obamacare, but now it's better, so it's Biden Care.
So it's Biden. It's not the iPhone 9. It's the iPhone 9 Plus.
That's funny.
Oh boy, but nah, court packing. It might happen, bro. I wouldn't completely rule it out. He hasn't ruled it out. He hasn't given a definitive answer if he's going to do it or not. Again, the Supreme Court used to be 11 justices a couple decades ago. So it has been bigger in the past. So all these people, mainly Republicans, on their soapboxes like, oh, he's going to pack the courts. He's going to pack the courts. He's going to destroy the judicial branch of the government and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, you do know that the court was bigger right. in the past. This isn't nothing new. So
is the black guy in the Supreme Court conservative too?
Super. He's
probably, God, what a disappointment. He's
probably the most conservative.
Gosh, man. Sell out.
Long shot.
Big fucking sell out.
He's the worst in the court? Dang.
He's super conservative. I mean, damn, I'm like fucking late. My bad, guys. I thought
that's good, bro.
Shit was going to go down and it didn't, so I'm here.
That's cool, bro. Welcome.
No, good. No, we got to say all because I feel like you would have corrected us too much if you would have gotten it early.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. Fact check Twitter.
But you guys are talking about the Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah, the court packing, judging Amy Barrett.
Oh man,
I don't think that rotating Supreme Court justice shit is gonna happen, bro. That seems so unnecessarily complicated, and it feels like one of the it kind of like.
Has that ever happened?
There's a lot of power, bro. Just being one of those things.
You probably have to change the Constitution, right? Because aren't Supreme Court justices have life appointments or until they retire?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be, but like to make an amendment, the only thing is to make an amendment, you need 2/3 of Congress, and then you need 3/4 of the states to add an amendment. So you need 66% of people in Congress, and you need like, what is that, like 33 states or some shit? That's a hard sell. Any constitutional amendment, like, because like it's weird, but the country is always divided, but there are just certain things that at some point just like wasn't a debate anymore. Like, shit like the Bill of Rights. Yeah, we probably should have that. At some point,
that's kind of important.
Yeah, like at some point, things aren't a debate, but like, damn, packing the court. I mean, it's possible, but man,
what do you think's more? I think packing the court is more possible than the rotation of judges.
For sure.
That's what I think.
Packing the court been a thing since 1789, bro.
Like I said, we used to have 11 justices. This isn't rocket science. It's not like it never happened. It's just like Republicans are just trying to sell it like this is like the end day. These are the end days. This is the end of the world.
I get it though. I mean, I get where they're coming from though. It's like you only want to. You said what?
Nothing.
Well, I get where both sides. I mean, they're just both competing power structures, right? I get why the Republicans is the same reason why they blocked Merrick Garland, and then they railroaded, Amy Barrett, is because
ridiculous, man.
On one end, you can say they're hypocritical, right? Like, oh yeah, why would you block Merrick Garland for months, and then railroad Amy Barrett? But really, I mean, they're just being consistent. Like whatever party's in power is probably gonna, they're at the point now, with gerrymandering, they're just gonna solidify whatever they can. So Republicans see packing the court as like a political move, which it is, but man, it's
Democrats need to stop being pussy and playing the fucking hard game too.
The Republicans.
You said what?
Democrats need to stop being pussy and playing the hard game, son.
If they sweep like they're projecting, they will. They're not going to be pussy. They're going to have all the power, bro. You figure the freaking the House, the Senate, and the White House, bro. There'll be like Republicans. What do you want to do?
I just hope that when they get all that power, they don't flip on us and shit. They're like, now we're here, bitches.
And just, turn into
robots.
And then we're gonna have two Republican parties.
Well,
they're gonna turn back to Dixiecrats from
maybe. We'll see what happens, because like even within the Democratic Party, it's like they're somewhat united now, just because they're like, you know what, fuck the right, fuck the Republicans. But even within the Democratic Party, it's not like a monolith. Like you have people who are very progressive, leaning to socialist side, AOC,
Bernie Sanders,
or
Katie Porter.
Bernie Sanders, and then you have the establishment Democrats who are just sort of, hold the line. Your typical neoliberal, establishment, let's not rock the boat too much, but we'll let gay people marry Joe Biden, shit like that. Guys like Obama, Joe Biden, who are kind of like, not really, they're just kind of, they're not really progressive, relative to people further left of them. And then you do have some Democrats who are kind of like more centrist, even some sort of, right leaning. It's going to be interesting and see what happens because we'll see if they're how unified the party is. And I have a feeling that even if Democrats have all the power, there's some things that are that are possible, like packing the court and, just having, coronavirus relief, just having broad power to do certain shit. But I think at some point there's going to be like disagreements. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing like, people think. I just think that people who are on the right, in a weird way, like they work better together. They're able to put their differences aside and work for a common goal.
For the most part.
Huh?
Yeah. For the most part, they definitely couldn't do that with the stimulus relief.
Hey man, evil gets.
But I also feel like
not at
all.
No, I don't mean Republicans and Democrats. I mean
Republicans and Republicans
as a group.
Yeah,
right.
But I hear you on that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, particularly with the stimulus, Republicans were at odds with each other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Throughout the entire process, there was a section of them that didn't want to do anything. They didn't even want to do the CARES Act. The first around.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Like let them figure it out. Let them pull.
Like they're not a monolith either, but like when they're in power, they get shit done. Like not in a good kind of way, but like.
But I feel like they're just willing to go further, like further than the other person, like, or at least they're doing it now. They're doing it first. Like how there's always some things that they're more what? Yeah,
I think they're more strategic about it. It's like
agree. That's true.
It's easier to do evil than good.
Facts.
It's just it's hard to say. There's a lot of finger pointing, like who started what, and I don't even think it matters. I think we're at the point where whoever's in power is going to try to push the just the like precedents in their direction. Just like for example, packing the Supreme Court, like and any number of things. So. Yeah, people are just saying like mask off, fuck it. Like we're brawling right now. That's where we're at. So
my body, my choice. So I'm not gonna wear a mask. But when it comes to Roe v. Wade, different story, right?
I mean, health. Like to go off of Ed's point, healthcare is another issue because you got the progressives. They want Medicare for all, and you got Biden and really Obama to an extent. They're just like, nah, we've got Obamacare, and now we got Biden care. We don't want to end private insurance because we make a shit ton of money off of that, and America makes a shit ton of money off of that. So, but you got the progressives who are just like, but everyone can't afford private insurance, so everyone should have it. But that's socialist. So, what do I know?
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's weird. It's like America is like probably the only country where a large percentage of the population believes that healthcare isn't necessarily a right for a citizen. It's like you should be treated by a hospital, but no one's obligated to pay for it. So
exactly.
We'll fix you up. Yeah, man, we'll give you a fucking $50,000 bill at the end of it, and then you get a heart attack because you read the bill, and then you go back again. And then...
Bro, an ambulance ride by itself is something crazy.
$400, bro.
Like $500 for an ambulance ride.
It's insane.
I'll walk. I got shot, but I'll walk, bro. I got it.
I'll walk it off. How far is the ER? 2 blocks? 10 blocks? I can do that.
I'll walk it off. That's all right.
Yeah, it's nutty, but it's... Man, without going into like the history of healthcare, it's just like the way we have it. It's our insurance companies don't just provide insurance; they're like a middleman.
Yeah,
healthcare, and it's not like when you say health insurance, it's more than insurance. They're like they negotiate prices And because they have all this negotiating power to negotiate prices, hospitals and doctors create these artificially large price points so they can get paid. Right. And then now insurance companies are like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we have a captive audience. Doctors are like, oh, yeah, cool. Fuck it. Like, so now it's this whole thing. I think if you have any market where you separate the buyer from the seller, the more middlemen you add, like the simple way to put it, the more middlemen, the more
middle people,
the more expensive it's going to be, the more confusing it's going to be. Like, even if we had a system where there was like, even if we did have Obamacare, you said what?
I said
Biden care.
I said we are progressive.
Or yeah, like even if you didn't have Biden care, fucking Kamala care, whatever.
I like Kamala care.
Kamala care.
Kamala care.
Hey.
Yeah, but
it's like Biden care, but better.
Yeah, like, but even with that, it's like if you had a market, right? It's like, just be consistent. If you're like a free market person, right? Just remove that middleman, so you have people, the market, interact directly with doctors, right? Because now doctors would be forced to fight, price things fairly, and then it wouldn't be like, so it wouldn't be like a smoke screen with what you pay. Like, for example, I went to the doctor not too long ago. I had no idea what the fuck I was going to pay. I even asked them how much it was. They didn't know, right? So I looked on the website, right? And I had to dig through like these old PDFs and find the exact cost of what would, like, the book cost of what my treatment would be. It was in the thousands of dollars, right? So I ended up getting this bill with like, that was $800, right? And I was like, oh shit, that sucks. I have to pay $800 fucking dollars. That sucks, right? And then after some back and forth, it turned out to be $200. So it's like there's all this smoke screen of
somebody. The person who sent you that bill added $600 to that shit.
So it went from like
shady, bro.
It went from like 5,000 to 800 to like 200, right? Because it turns out it was covered by my insurance in a certain way, but it's a system where it's like so opaque that you don't even know like what you're paying. So if you have a fuck ton of money, it doesn't matter, right? But actually, I almost feel that if you're a rich person, you could probably get healthcare cheaper pound for pound, because if you pay directly for services and you don't have that middleman, because there's some doctors and people that cater just to people with money who don't necessarily accept Medicare and certain types of insurances. It's like you can negotiate your price down. I mean, you can negotiate with like insurance company, but like you have the direct consumer with service model, so you could negotiate. You know what you're paying. Like there's some sort of market feedback. You're like, oh shit, I'm charging too much because the doctor down the street does the same shit and he's charging X amount of dollars less. Maybe I should lower my price. Like there's like the incentives are fucked up, and there's not like it's just weird, man. We have a crazy system. I do think it's like, pick one. We could do, quote unquote socialized medicine where people under a certain income aren't covered, right? I mean, are covered. My bad. No, fuck. Aren't covered. No, are covered, right? Are covered, or we can have Medicare for all. And we could also have a system where people could pay, private doctors directly. And that's how it is for a lot of other countries. Is like these countries don't just have socialized medicine. Like they still have a private sector. It's still a thing. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Like if I wanted to get an advanced treatment or like stem cells or something, I have to go to like Costa Rica. It's weird. Like it's just absurd. Like it's just a clusterfuck. And it's not complicated, but it's not simple enough for people to attack directly. So you do, like Band-Aids, like Obamacare and things like that, which was a good thing because a lot of people with pre-existing conditions get covered. But I understand why a lot of people don't like it, because a lot of people, particularly the middle class, like their premiums went up crazy. Like I could say my premiums went up, skyrocketed, like it just went up astronomically. And I can understand why people don't like it, even though I would rather have it than not have it, because, you know, having the most vulnerable population covered, that's way more important than anything else, period.
I mean,
you have to have that.
Speaking from experience as the only person here that was on Obamacare, like it was great. It was awesome. Like I used it right after college, because as soon as I finished college is when I got kicked the fuck off of my mom's plan, and she sat me down and was like, "Listen, you better get on something, because as of Monday, you're not gonna have health insurance." I was like, "Shit." So she's like, "Just do Obamacare," and I got it, and a bunch of people who graduated with me, they got it too. So you see what I'm saying? And it was awesome. What? I didn't have to pay. I never had to pay. I got to pick my own HMO. I never had to pay a copay when I went to the doctor. All my drugs were free. Like I didn't pay a monthly premium. It's awesome. It's great. It was the best thing in the world to me.
You know what I did? Well, I asked and got a job.
But who's paying for it, Ugo? Who's paying for it?
America.
Pull your bootstraps up.
My bootstraps. That's who's paying for it.
Well, I guess after this random, ridiculous tangent that had nothing to do with the Supreme Court.
Holy shit.
It still did though.
That had nothing to do with the Supreme Court.
It definitely did it. Everybody just upset.
That's the base
for $600. That's why he had to